Hi, Uma. How are you? Nice to see you.
Same here. How are you doing?
Oh, doing fine. Doing fine. Thank you very much. Why don't you start out? Just tell us a bit what you do. Tell us what you do for a living.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks for having me, Douglas. My name is Uma. I am a business transformation leader. What that means is I work with organizations, look at their, the business processes, look at how their business is functioning, and look for, opportunities of efficiency, and we bring the efficiency through the use of technology. So again, I mean, broadly, what we do is we bring automation to businesses. So that's really what I do for a living.
You bring automation to business. So people that have people working, you would replace them with machines?
Right. So that's a very, very good question, and that is a common misunderstanding about automation. So automation, and I'm very glad you asked that question, Douglas. Automation is not about replacing humans with machines. Automation is all about complementing humans with machines. So it looks at manual processes, or basically what we do, we look at processes that are done manually and bring in technology to increase the efficiency. So the automation is to really help humans, not necessarily to replace humans. Yes, there is a very basically a side effect of that, which is replacement of humans, but that is a tiny percentage of what automation is all about. Automation is really about bringing efficiency. Let me take a very simple example that we can all relate to on a day-to-day basis.
Okay.
For let's look. I mean, actually, I have a printer right in front of me, and I'm looking at it. So if you look at the printer, how many times do we actually say, oops, I forgot to order ink, right? So basically we run out of ink, we fail to notice it, and then we are out of ink for a certain number of days. What if the printer is smart enough to order its own ink, right before the ink is running out?
Oh.
That's automation. So basically that is actually helping humans, that is not replacing humans. Take this as an example and look at it at a much broader scale for big organizations. So that is really what automation is all about, and that's what I do.
Uh, I like that idea of the printer ordering its own ink because I know that that's happened to us several times. Give us another example of that. Do you have another one?
Sure. Another example, like maybe some of your viewers and listeners might use Airbnb, right? So that's a very common. That's a site most of us go to book our accommodation. Look at the host side of things. For example, I'm an Airbnb host, so I know I face this issue on a day-to-day basis. That is why I can relate to it. Now I have a new reservation, right? And I have to notify my cleaner that okay, there is a new reservation coming on so and so date, and then I need a clean on certain date. And these reservations keep coming and they keep changing so often, and then I have to manually communicate with my cleaner. And if I miss one, for example, one date change, if I miss and I forget to tell my cleaner, then I'm in a huge trouble. So instead, what if we can actually deploy some technology? As soon as a new reservation comes in, the cleaner gets notified automatically, right? And if the reservation changes, cleaner gets notified automatically. So that is the automation I'm talking about. I'm actually not replacing any human with a machine. I'm actually increasing the efficiency in this particular process. Another example, and this is something that all of us can relate to on a day-to-day basis, right? For example, we want to go from point A to point B. What is the best route to get there? I could have, I can take Douglas Boulevard, or I can take Highway, 5, or I can take some other road. Where is what is the optimal route for me? I can actually look at the traffic in all of these different routes that I could possibly take, and I can come up with a optimal route, but I could make a lot of mistakes. instead, basically the whole functioning of GPS is it looks at all the possible routes. It looks at the traffic in all these routes, and it will give you the optimal route to take. So that is actually the technology automating this particular direction as a use case for you, and it's giving you the best route to take. So that is automation. Again, I'm not replacing human with technology. I'm actually complementing human with technology. So these are all the common use cases we can relate to on a day-to-day basis, and that is what automation brings to us. Again, it's all about increasing our quality of life, our standard of life, increasing efficiency and how we function as individuals. And if you relate this to businesses, how businesses function on a day-to-day basis, and it's all about increasing efficiency.
Oh, that's super. So you've got a book out now called I Am A Rockstar. Is that the right title? Yeah?
Yes, it is.
Okay, tell us about your book.
Right. So if I have to describe my book in one word, it is an upskilling book. So, all of us want to, basically develop our skills on a day-to-day basis, right? So, and that's exactly what the book will help your listeners and viewers do. And when we say upskilling is a very broad term, right? So upskilling could be, I want to increase my artistic skills, or I want to increase my photography skills, or I want to increase my cooking skills. That is not this book is aimed at. So there is a core skill that all of us possess, and that is different for each individual. But all of us have something in common, which is, first of all, we have to develop our personality. We have to develop as individuals. And there are some common skills all of us have to develop, whether I'm an artist or I'm a chef or I'm a IT engineer or I'm a doctor, I'm a scientist or I'm a photographer. Regardless, there are certain skills all of us have to develop in order to succeed in life. Those skills are communication skills, leadership skills, branding skills, negotiating skills. So this book teaches all of that. But if you take a step back, those skills are actually step number 2. Step number 1 is a self-diagnosis, understanding who we are. Basically first believing that we can, we are all rock stars, believing that we can accomplish anything that is realistic, and understanding our strengths and weaknesses, right? And working, basically latching on to our strengths, working on our weaknesses. So this book has 2 parts. If I tell people, one is a self-diagnosis, understanding who we are, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, and then it gives you all the methodology and tools to develop the common skills that we all require to succeed in our careers.
Okay. So if somebody picks up your book and reads it, what do you think their takeaway is going to be? What are they going to get from this?
Right. So I can tell you, my experience, and this is what I'm hearing from, all the people that have actually read this book. The way I look at it is, first of all, I think this book, before you read this book and after you read this book, at least my goal is, and which is actually validated by my personal experience and what everybody is telling me, is to transform an individual. Just like I work on transforming businesses, the goal of this book is to transform an individual. So, again, you will come out of this book as somebody who is more motivated, who understands, your strengths and weaknesses better, and you have a plan to work on your strengths and weakness. I mean, basically, improve on your strengths and work on your weaknesses, but also, improve all this, the standard or common skills that we all need in order to succeed in life, regardless of your skills. So, bottom line, the goal is to transform an individual, and through the process, obviously improve all the necessary skills that one needs to succeed in life.
Is the book related to what you do for a living, or is it kind of 2 separate things?
No. So it is, the book is written based upon a lot of lessons I learned, during my career, but also it has a lot of experiences outside of my work. and the book is actually basically the book is applicable to anybody who is looking to upskill, so regardless of the career.
One of your talking points that I wanted to hit on too was about COVID, which everybody is dealing with right now. And how is it affecting the IT market at this point? Is it helping you or hurting you? Or because some businesses have actually done better during this time. I mean, Amazon is flying. At least their stock is at the moment. And I know that people are, because they can't go shopping, they have to stay home and they order online. So online businesses seem to have picked up a lot during this COVID issue. How's it been for you?
Right. So yes, you're right. I mean, some businesses got impacted worse than others, and some business got impacted, better than others in terms of, Amazon being, getting benefited from this whole COVID. Information technology as a whole, in our industry, we saw a dip in the beginning when, we had lockdown, right? So obviously during the lockdown, we saw the business go down drastically, but it picked up as soon as the lockdown was lifted. Now COVID, in fact, accelerated the need for automation for a lot of businesses. So I think a lot of businesses are realizing that they have to be ready for, first of all, they have to react to the current COVID crisis, and also they have to be prepared for another, crisis like this. So, we saw a lot of activity as soon as, the lockdown was lifted. And so, now we see a lot of demand for, accelerated automation, I would say. So yes, the short answer is, technology is doing better right now.
The technology that you work with and that you promote, that would certainly help facilitate people working at home more, would it not?
That is part, yeah.
Yeah, because I think the new normal, they keep saying the new normal, but the new normal is going to be more people working from home, less people going into an office. And I could see how your software could potentially help facilitate that change.
Correct. Yes. And it's also, yes, absolutely. But it's slightly, it's beyond that as well, in terms of getting the systems ready in case something like this happens. I mean, working from home is one example, but also the core business functions, we want to make sure all of a sudden everybody works from home, the core business functions are not impacted. So yes, just to expand on your point, that's one of the demand areas we are seeing from a technology perspective.
Okay, all right, great. We do have to kind of wind this down, but last question is, any other projects? Are you working on anything else right now? What can we expect?
Yeah, so I'm working on a similar book for kids. Again, the main concept in the book is self-belief, right? So the younger, you instill upon, the concepts like self-belief and confidence, the better it is. So the new book is going to be for kids, any kid that can read, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay, super. Do you have a website you want to give out?
Yes, it's umavanka.com. It's www.umav, like Victor, A-N, like Nancy, K-A.com. umavanka.com.
Okay. Well, Uma, thank you for coming on this show. It was very interesting talking to you. Best of luck with your book and your company. I hope everything goes well.